What is good, everyone? Gamer Critic back with yet another Why I'm Buying. I apologize if there's a little bit of an echo. I'm recording in a spot I don't normally record in, but here with another Why I'm Buying, and today we are talking about one of my most anticipated games of this entire year, Metaphor Refantazio. Or is it Metaphor Refantazio? I'm honestly not sure. I've heard it said both ways. I'm honestly not sure which is the quote-unquote correct way. Either way, this is the new Atlas game coming, and it looks really freaking good. So Metaphor Refantazio is a new RPG developed by Studio Zero, published by Atlas. It releases on October 11, 2024 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and S, and PC platforms. So before we go even further, I need to let you all know that I've only finished one Persona game. Not to say I haven't played other Persona games. I played Persona 3 Reload, I played Persona 5 Royal, but the only Persona game I have actively finished is the original Persona 5, which is legitimately one of my favorite games of all time. I say that to let you guys know that while I'm not the absolute biggest Persona fan, I am a fan. I enjoy these games, which is exactly why the biggest thing that I'm hearing about Metaphor Refantazio, which is that it is extremely similar to previous Persona games. I should know since I played the demo all the way back at Anime Expo 2024, and I plan on playing the demo before the game comes out on the 11th. And if this game is seriously that similar to Persona, my response to that is, what the hell is wrong with that? People are saying that this game is so similar to Persona. I'm over here like, is that supposed to be a bad thing? And admittedly, from the demo that I played, while yes, it is really similar, there is clearly a few things going on with it that at least tries to let it stand apart a little. So the game is set in the kingdom of Uchronia. Your protagonist is on a journey to save his best friend, break a curse that affects them, and to rally the support from different regions in Uchronia as the royal election approaches. Honestly, this entire story just screams like Game of Thrones. It really feels like the overarching political themes are what's going to be driving the narrative. The royal election and the tensions between the different factions in the world, I feel like are going to shape our interactions and our decisions. We have to gather the support from different regions, build alliances, and engage in debates to advance the standing in that kingdom. I've always enjoyed these type of games that really go deep into politics like this, you know what I mean? Like how it's up to you to decide which factions you're gonna align with, how you're going to appease to the other faction to get them to see reason with this faction. I really enjoy those type of games that go deep into like the political intrigue. A really great game that did that came out later on from this year was a game called Unicorn Overlord, also published by Atlas but developed by Vanillaware. And I really enjoyed Unicorn Overlord, but it really looks like Metaphor Refantazio is going to go even deeper with it. We're going to be able to support different regions, build alliances. We're even going to be able to engage in debates to advance their standings in the kingdom. It really just feels like the overarching political theme is going to be the main driver of this story. And assuming that these decisions have some actual stake, which I'm honestly assuming that they will, I'm going to get really into all this. And outside of a deep political story, Metaphor Refantazio is going to have what previous Persona games always do best. And that's give us fantastic supporting characters. Supporting characters that are not only as important as the main character, but in some ways even better and more developed. The relationships that you have with your companions, much like in the Persona series, are going to be central to the story. All of the characters in this game have distinct personalities, backstories, and personal struggles that the player will uncover over time as the story goes deeper. It is not just about exploring the world. You also have to worry about building stronger bonds with them to enhance not only the narrative, but your skills in gameplay, as the companions will become more effective in the battle. But what makes it just a little more interesting is that each of the companions in Metaphor Refantazio are going to have different political factions and are going to have a unique perspective on certain game events. And that means that the player's interaction with certain characters will influence not only our personal relationship with them, but the outcome of the royal election. You choosing to spend a little more time with one character over another could actually have significant effects on who decides to take your side or not. It is genuine stakes on who you decide to spend your time with, and I like that. And I spent all this time talking about the story, the characters. I haven't even mentioned much about the gameplay. Like I said, is still very similar to Persona with some key differences. Metaphor Refantazio is going to use a strategic turn-based combat system where exploiting the enemy's weaknesses is crucial. But unlike Persona, they're going to add real-time elements. Now, Persona has always had a bit of a real-time element to it, like you're able to run up behind an enemy, slash it, and that gives you an advantage in battle. But Metaphor Refantazio is going to go deep into it. You're going to be able to do like a dodge roll that allows the player to avoid an enemy attack before initiating a turn-based battle. This will add a layer of some action strategy where the player must time their movements to avoid getting caught off guard. So little changes like that could actually go a very long way. Another big mechanic in Metaphor Refantazio is the Archetype System, which is essentially the traditional RPG class or job system. Each archetype is going to represent a distinct role or specialization that a character can adopt, influencing their abilities, stats, and their equipment options. These archetypes can be warriors, mages, rogues, healers, even hybrid classes that can combine the elements of multiple roles. And the archetypes, like other gameplay factors in this game, are going to have a significant role in the narrative. The archetypes are not just gameplay mechanics, they are woven into the story. The characters might have very deep personal arcs related to their chosen archetypes, and as the players interact with party members and strengthen bonds, certain archetypes may become more accessible, and that may allow you to gain even more unique abilities tied to these relationships. It's all very similar to the Persona social link, and the Persona social link was so good because the link, it felt like it developed naturally through the game's world and story because you wanted to go out and spend time with these characters and talk to these characters. And it feels like Metaphor Refantazio is going to do the exact same thing. You're not just going to be able to go out and spend time with the character or build an archetype without possibly sacrificing your time. And that is where the travel system comes into play. The players are going to be able to traverse the diverse regions of Uchronia. However, traveling between these locations is going to consume in-game time, which directly ties into that day and night cycle I was just talking about. So depending on the distance on where you're going, certain routes or journeys may take multiple in-game days to complete. Even as you're traveling, you'll be able to initiate conversations, deepen bonds, strengthen relationships. That is not only going to help your companions more battle, making them stronger, but is simply just going to do a great job at fleshing them out as characters. That's always been one of my favorite things about Persona, and that's honestly looking like to be one of my favorite things in Metaphor Refantazio. It's the time aspect of it all, the time management. Time is a limited resource in these games, so really, you are constantly making strategic decisions, even if you don't really think that you are. Whether it's to fight or rest or travel or engaging in political debates, it must be weighed against the passage of time. It's that constant awareness of, okay, I need to get this done before this time comes, or that done before this time, is just something that has always intrigued me in the Persona games that I played, and I am sure it's going to do the same thing in Metaphor Refantazio. I am fully aware that I have essentially just been describing a Persona game. Metaphor Refantazio is Persona. And again, I ask, Is that a bad thing? Yes, it's very similar to Persona, but there are some key differences here that not only set it apart, but kind of give it a kind of an evolution of sorts. Not only is Metaphor taking a new chance with some of its gameplay, but it's also setting itself in a new location with new relationships, with new characters that all seem legitimately interesting. I'm so excited for Metaphor Refantazio. I think this has the potential to be one of my favorite games of this year, easily. I say this at the end of every video. There's a chance it could end up not delivering. I could be completely wrong, but right now, given everything that we know and everything that we've seen in the trailers, Metaphor Refantazio looks like a beautiful mixture of previous Persona games and deep political intrigue. And if it manages to deliver as much as I think it will, then I cannot wait to buy Metaphor Refantazio day one. And that's why I'm buying Metaphor Refantazio. Thank you guys so much for watching. The next video is actually going to be another why I'm buying for Life is Strange Double Exposure. As much as I love these deep RPGs, deep, massive gameplay experiences, right? Sometimes I just want to play a story game, and Life is Strange seems like such a nice little story game. So I'll jump into that. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. It helps a ton. Be sure to check out some of my other videos. If you want to stay up to date with what I'm doing, follow me on Instagram. That's @TheGamerCritic. Be good people, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right, peace.